Hello YouTube, welcome over to GamingHouse, and we're going to be doing the review for Far Cry Primal. Hopefully the cave achievements here will do the speaking of what I've done in the game. While we get into this, real quick, stay tuned for after the review score for another channel update. And without further ado, let's get into this. Far Cry Primal is available on the Xbox One, PS4, and the PC. It is published by Ubisoft and developed by Ubisoft Montreal. For this review, the version I played, like with most of my games that I played it on the Xbox One. Starting off, let's get into the story, setting, and characters of the game. The game takes place in Central Europe during 10,000 BCE. Of course, the time of cavemen, Neanderthals, and saber-toothed tigers. You play as Takar, a member of the Wenja tribe, which has become beaten down, spread out, and pretty much a remnant of whatever former faction head it used to be, due to the effects of the Udam tribe, who are cannibals apparently. You know, you don't get to witness that a whole lot, and I don't remember the other name of the people. I'm just going to call them the Blue People. But you were off with your fellow tribesmen trying to find the land of Oros and gather the remnants of the Wenja. You become ambushed by a saber-toothed tiger, things go south, but you find yourself in Oros with the remnants of the Wenja tribe to be found, gathered up, and formed once again to fight back the Udam and Blue People. And the important members of your tribe, also known as specialists that will unlock more skills for you to use, include your crazy shaman with crazy concoctions for you to drink and go on strange spirit walks, crazy ear lady, the man I call Snake, an old hunter who tried to hit me in the balls with an arrow, a one-armed douchebag that I wish I would just drown, as well as members of an enemy faction. It's actually factions, I apologize there. It's more than one faction. You get one from each. And as you can note, I kind of changed up the names of several of them because, in retrospect, that's one of the weak elements of its characters, is none of them are really memorable other than the way they look. You don't spend enough time with any of them. That includes the antagonists of the game, which has kind of been a major point of the last two Far Cries, is the antagonists that are both either very enjoyable to watch them do crazy and evil things, or just wonderful, like Pagan. I liked Pagan. Not many people liked Pagan, apparently. Moving on to the gameplay aspects of Far Cry Primal, as you may have noticed, we're in ancient times, so no guns, cars, or fancy radio towers to reveal the map. You will have to walk around most of the map to reveal it, and all its secrets, whether its locations to find, bonfires to take over for fast travel points, or outposts to take over for both population and, again, fast travel points. With weapons, you have not really a vast array of weapons, but you have a bunch of throwing items as well as melee weapons, which include the club and spear, both of which can be thrown, and several different types of bow and arrows. Now, unfortunately, with the melee-centric weapons, the melee combat in this game is really lackluster. It's more of go in there, hit as many times as you can, maybe back out if you gotta heal, because there's no blocking in this, there's no dodging or anything like that. So it's really lackluster in the combat source of it. Only if you're only gonna get a real joy out of it if you're like a stealthy, quasi-stealthy person going around doing takedowns. Everything else, mostly gameplay-wise, is pretty much very similar to any Far Cry game you've played with. The skills, the way enemies act, react, and the taking of outposts, with the alarms being replaced with horns and other things that are like clear, like kind of copy and paste, pretty much. One of the things, though, that is of a complaint is, of course, the AI is really dumb. Since everyone's melee combat focused, they act like melee people in the other Far Cry games. They just kind of blindly charge you. In fact, the best way I found to deal with the heavily armored guys is once I had the ability to build traps, I just build a trap and watch him walk in front of me. Now, the thing that sets Takar apart from other people of the Wenja tribe, and one of the new aspects of Far Cry Primal, is that he is apparently a Beastmaster. He has the ability to command the beasts of nature, only carnivores, and sometimes mammoths that he can ride, but he's able to tame these creatures and use them. But the taming is rather lackluster. It's just throw bait and then hold down the button. I'm the captain now. Now, this seems like a cool feature, taming and controlling creatures that have various different skills and perks, such as finding items while you're idle, being able to stealthily kill enemies without alerting them, or being able to ride. And that last part's important as we get into this, that later on, with the animal AI, they're kind of dumb, as well as the enemy AI there. They say you send them out to attack, they will attack someone, and then immediately come running back to your position, bringing all the enemies with them that they just possibly alerted. And also, you mainly use them as a distraction when attacking outposts and other enemy strongholds. You use them as a distraction, you send them out there, let them take some hits, you go around, sneak, and take down enemies. And unfortunately, as I said, with the animals you can ride the brown bear and the saber-tooth tigers, but for whatever reason you can't ride cave bears, but you can ride mammoths. But once you unlock that ability to ride animals, you're not going to want to use the other animals anymore, because now you have a fast way of getting around from the fast travel areas to your objective area, unless you feel like walking the entire time, or constantly just swapping out the animals. Getting into the final stretch of things, let's go over a few bad things. One of the complaints that I have is X is tied to, and for the Xbox, it's the X button. That's tied to way too many things. Searching bodies, feeding the animal, petting the animal, being able to ride the animal, and this leads to a lot of frustrating points of trying to do one action and end up doing a different one instead. Another is several immersion breaks in the game. And that goes with, towards the end of the game, they play a song that's in English. The grappling hook in general, and the ability to repel, because apparently cavemen learned how to use grappling hooks and also learned how to effectively repel up and down ropes. And the odd intelligence that, it could just be me, but these cavemen are awfully intelligent when it comes to certain things and talking about certain things that I won't spoil for anyone. And as well as Takar being abnormally kind in certain scenarios when we're supposed to be cavemen that are kind of supposed to be more savage and brutal, and there are several points where he does not act accordingly, especially towards certain enemies. It's just like, why don't you just stab him in the face right now instead of talking to them and letting them do certain things. The other is the identity of the game. With this game, I went in with the mentality of playing Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which was a kind of expansion, DLC for Far Cry 3, or based on Far Cry 3, I should say, because it was entirely reskinned and did everything else, but it was a fun little DLC to play. And I went in with that mentality with this game. But unfortunately, with this game, they treat it as a full game. It has a season pass, it has DLC lined up, it costs $60, and I felt like if they treated this more like an expansion kind of deal, then a lot of things would make a lot more sense, and things would work out a little bit better, and it would be more forgiving than some of the things that would be negative about it. So now we get to the score of the game. As always with my scale, I rate on 1 through 10, 1 being very poor, 10 being very good, and 5 meaning that it's okay average or so. And with this game, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5. It's an interesting concept. It falls short in several other areas, such as the gameplay and the beasts and things that I felt they could have done more with if they had given it time, or at least made this more of an expansion. I'd say pick it up at some point, definitely at a reduced price. In my opinion, it's definitely not a $60 kind of game, despite how much area that you have and collectibles and all the side stuff to do. It's not 60 in my opinion. So there you have it, 5 out of 10 for Far Cry Primal. Now, the announcement I mentioned before, I was supposed to be uploading a playthrough of Far Cry Primal, but I have literally everything but the last 3 hours, which included the end of the game, because the Elgato actually freaked out on me instead of my computer doing a blue screen or something. And since it isn't, they don't have anything that backs it up, I lost the entire end game. And that unfortunately means I'm not going to be uploading any of the playthroughs that I did, or not playthroughs. So that won't be coming, unfortunately, but stay tuned for other things. Again, Division, I might do some other things with friends to hopefully upload before Division comes out. If you enjoyed Far Cry, didn't enjoy Far Cry Primal, or have any questions that I might be able to answer, go ahead and leave them down below. Thank you for watching the video. If you're on your way out, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to stick around the Gaming House for a little while, maybe hit that subscribe button, check out the channel for other reviews and gameplay that I've done or that I'm going to do. And as always, you're going to come back over to Gaming House for more gameplay and commentary.